Have you ever gone all in on a new hobby? I mean, completely obsessed, only to find it collecting dust a few months later? Yeah? If you're surrounded by half-finished projects and you keep asking yourself, why can't I just stick with something? Well, you're in exactly the right place. And we're about to flip that whole question on its head.
It's a familiar sight, isn't it? I call it the hobby graveyard. You know, that beautiful guitar in the corner, the half finished painting, that online coding course you were so passionate about for like exactly 4 weeks. It's this wild cycle of intense, all consuming passion that just fades into boredom. And man, it can be so frustrating.
But let's get one thing straight right now. You might be telling yourself that you're lazy or undisciplined or just a quitter. I'm here to tell you that's just not true. The reason you lose interest has absolutely nothing to do with a character flaw. It's all about the unique way your brain is wired for discovery. So first, let's walk through that familiar and, yeah, often frustrating place, the hobby graveyard.
So, what is really going on in your head? Well, the answer isn't about willpower. It's about your brain on novelty. It all comes down to chemistry.
It really all starts with a brain chemical you've probably heard of, dopamine. Now, people call it the pleasure molecule, but it's actually more about motivation. It's the chemical that fires up when your brain spots something new and interesting. It's basically shouting, hey, pay attention, this could be good. It's what drives us to explore and learn new things. And here is the absolute key. For a brain that is wired for high curiosity, the biggest dopamine hit, that biggest reward, comes from novelty, not from repetition. As soon as something becomes routine, that reward signal starts to fade. Your brain is basically an explorer. It's way more interested in discovering new lands than it is in farming the land it already knows. You can see this cycle play out so clearly. At the beginning of a new hobby, dopamine is high, you feel this intense excitement, and you're learning things so fast. But fast forward a few months, that newness is gone, the challenge becomes predictable, your dopamine levels drop, and that amazing feeling gets replaced with a sense of being stuck. This is not a personal failure. It's just your brain's reward system saying, all right, we've mapped this territory, what's next? So this whole chemical process creates what we can call the fast learner's dilemma. Because what if this isn't really about getting bored at all? What if it's about something way more impressive? This right here is the critical mindset shift. You don't just lose interest, you outgrow an environment once it becomes predictable to you. You learn so quickly that you solve the initial puzzle, and your brain, which is hungry for the next challenge, gets restless. It's like you've just beaten the level and you're ready to see what the next one has in store. And I'm willing to bet this cycle looks incredibly familiar. First, there's the discovery phase, this exciting new world opens up. Then comes the obsession. You dive in headfirst, just absorbing everything you can. Pretty soon, you master the fundamentals, you've conquered that initial challenge, and then you move on. Why? Because the novelty is gone, and so is that dopamine rush. See? This isn't a pattern of failure, it's a pattern of rapid learning. Okay, so this brings us to a really huge shift in perspective. What if this tendency isn't a bug in your system? What if it's actually a feature? Just let this sink in for a second. Your restlessness isn't a lack of focus. It's the sign of a mind in a constant state of mental growth. That very need you feel to move from one thing to the next, well, that's the engine of your learning process. And think about it. In a world that's changing faster than ever, being able to learn things quickly isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. This ability to dive into a new topic, figure it out, and move on makes you incredibly adaptable. You're not just collecting dusty hobbies, you're building this amazing, broad blueprint of skills and knowledge. So, if we don't need to fix this, what do we do? Well, we harness it. Let's talk about how to use this restlessness as the powerful tool it truly is. It all starts by changing the story you tell yourself. Seriously, from now on, your brain is wired for novelty, and that is more than okay. You're not a quitter, you are a fast learner. Losing interest doesn't mean you failed, it means you're ready to grow again. And most importantly, your curiosity is not a flaw to be managed, it's your greatest strength. So, I'll leave you with this thought. All those past hobbies, they aren't failures in a graveyard. They're just territories you've successfully explored. And every single one of them has added a new patch to the map of who you are. So if your mind is an explorer and your curiosity is your compass, the only real question left is, where will you go next?